Hello, I'm Hal Lublin.
And I'm Mark Gagliardi.
Since the dawn of humanity, one issue has gone unsettled. With the fate of the world in the balance, we're here to settle once and for all.
Best Tom Hanks movie! That's right. Don't worry, everyone. We got this.
Podcasts should have a theme song. Podcasts should not have a theme song. Yes, they should. No, they shouldn't. They sound good. Yeah, but people are just going to skip past it. You know what? You're right. We got this.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
We are so bad at Tom Hanks impressions, both of us. I was trying to do the young bosom buddies era Tom Hanks,
Sure.
and I don't know what that was. That was future Tom?
That was that was Toy Story. That was the other toy making fun of Woody going, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Oh.
Because I know I can't do, you know who does a great Tom Hanks impression is his brother who does all the toys.
Oh, he does the, and does he do the, keep your hands and arms inside the Radiator Springs Racers?
That might be him. Cause
Yeah.
I don't think that's is that a Tom Hanks impression? Cause he's not in Cars.
Oh, no, I'm not thinking Cars. I'm thinking Toy Story Mania.
You're thinking of Toy Story.
Yeah.
It might be him.
Yeah.
That might be him.
I was very excited when I heard Dave Foley, as Flick do the ant ride, or not ants, the Bugs Life ride at Disneyland. And I was like, oh man, I was walking through one day and I heard his voice on that ride and I thought, that's bucket list stuff.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Well, you know my story, my Disney story, right?
no.
One of my early voiceover jobs.
Oh, is this your freeze when you had to voice match freeze?
Yes, for a Club 33 event for the Haunted Mansion. Did not get paid. Did not find out till the day I was in the recording booth.
That you weren't getting paid. Why weren't you getting paid?
Who knows? I was young.
Come on, Disney.
I was so happy just to do it. And I think they needed somebody who would do it for do it as a favor. And the guy who does the voice match, Corey Burton, who was much more professional than I, certainly at that time was like, no, I get paid to do this.
Yeah.
You will pay me and then I will do it for you.
Yeah. I have a buddy. I don't want to put him on blast because they're both kids, but his daughter, his two daughters, they are both actors and they've done commercials since they were really little. But, you know, when you're in the comedy world, he'll have buddies that are always coming up to him being like, hey man, I know your daughters are actors. I need kids for this short that I'm filming or I'm shooting this sketch. And his response is always the same. Sure. They in SAG.
That's a good stage dad.
Yeah, right. That's a great stage dad.
I love it.
Yeah.
This topic,
Yes.
however, was suggested by no voice matches.
What?
It was suggested by Kids Dr. Dave.
Yes.
That is a Twitter handle.
Hi kids, Dr. Dave.
And I assume he's, a pediatrician
I assume he is two kids stacked on top of each other wearing a lab coat.
trying to get into medical school.
Literally kids who are a doctor.
We're here to learn medicine.
Yeah. And why are you so wobbly?
Oh, scoliosis. Please don't point it out. You legally can't do that. Cassandra also suggested this.
Oh.
Which I assume is, Cassandra, the Cassandra who plays Elvira.
Yeah, probably, right? Hello,
listener of the
Elvira.
show. Thank you, Elvira.
Big fan. Love the giant hairdo.
Yeah, and I'm a fan of The Dark, of which you are the mistress.
Ooh. Hal Lublin,
Part of it.
Mr. of the Dark.
She's cheating on me with someone else. She's become a mistress and is of the dark. And I'm sitting at home.
Why
going,
is Mr. a good word, but mistress is a bad word?
it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But what does it elicit?
The connotations.
Yeah.
Did I tell you what my friend said, about the word actress? Have we talked about this?
No.
She's an actor and she said she hates the word actress. And I said, why? And she said, let me ask you this. When was the last time you got sick and went to a doctoress?
Yep.
I was like, that is a great point. So I just say actor for everybody now.
Yeah, me too. I eliminated.
But don't the Oscars do that now? Or one of the awards they do female actor in a leading role or
not the Oscars. They still do actor and actress as far as I know.
Maybe it's the Golden Globes.
Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about the Golden Globes, or are we?
Well,
Because we're talking about Tom Hanks today.
Yes, he's won them all.
He is an all-time great. He is America's dad.
Yes.
He is a much beloved actor. I can't think of anyone who I know who doesn't like Tom Hanks.
No, and he's also another guy who his career has had seasons.
Yeah.
Like
which is fun that we can kind of dig into those.
Yeah. And this is an interesting topic, because there may be a movie in which he appears that he might not be the lead, but he's still an important character, that may be the best movie. I assume we're looking for the best movie in which he appears. Are we looking at the best movie that he carries?
That's a question that I think is quite important, because one of the movies that he appears in is one of my all-time favorite movies and has already won an episode of this show once.
The Man with One Red Shoe?
Yes. From when we did movies about shoes.
Yeah, the best shoe movie.
Yeah.
What movie are you talking about?
A League of Their Own.
A League of Their Own, that's true.
But that's not his movie. He's a huge part of it. It's a Gina Davis, Lori Petty.
Really, it's a Penny Marshall movie. Like,
yeah, it's about the team. The movie's about the team.
Yeah, and it's really like everybody who's in it is great and is an accomplishment for all of them. But
it's just Penny Marshall and her love of sports. That's the star of that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know. Do you want to make it, because he's in a lot of great movies. I would argue that one of the greatest animated movies of all time he is in. Definitely the greatest animated franchises of all time.
You talking about Polar Express?
Yes.
Yep.
Well, Polar Express 3 was the best one.
Still expressing.
Yeah, expressing.
It's really, really good.
No, but Toy Story 3, I still think Toy Story 3 is the absolute superior movie, but Toy Story 1 is the one that started it all. And
yes.
So these are the kind of things like, do we count his ensemble work?
It would be impossible to talk about the best Tom Hanks movies and not include those, because his performance and his character is also integral to those films. Like, here's not exactly the same kind of movie at all, but Saving Private Ryan.
I was just going to say Saving Private Ryan. It's a war movie, so it's obviously going to be an ensemble.
Yes.
You know the story of his monologue or his death scene in that? Spoiler alert. The story of his death scene at the end of Saving Private Ryan. They had written him a giant monologue that he does while he's sitting there dying. And Tom Hanks said to Steven Spielberg, this guy wouldn't do this. He would not he's not the type of guy that's going to have a big monologue here. So they changed it, and that's when he just says, earn this. And that to me is, I think, who Tom Hanks is, hey, do you want your big World War II picture Oscar death scene monologue? And he's like, no, this guy wouldn't do that. Let's just make the movie and be truthful.
Yeah.
Which I think is really remarkable.
It's always nice to have a performer who's willing to serve the piece at the sacrifice of something that would make them stand out more.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think most people want what's best for the piece because that's best for the performer as well, but it's also hard if you have a really well-written speech to go, oh,
right,
this doesn't seem right.
But also at this time, he was already giant mega superstar Tom Hanks.
Yes.
And I feel like the higher up in Hollywood you get, the less interested in stage time you are, and you're just more interested in stories.
You think if he was coming like right off of Joe versus the Volcano,
right? If he was,
he would have been like, yes,
give me that Oscar monologue.
Could this be longer?
Yeah, right. He just shoot him somewhere that doesn't take a quick death.
Yeah, but if he's just shot in the legs a lot.
Oh my God. So how do you want to divide this up?
I want to go in the seasons of Tom Hanks.
I like that.
I want to start with
the post Bosom Buddies.
This is when he's
hilarious, comedic leading man.
I would say going up to, let's cut this off right before Philadelphia,
which is 1993.
Yes. So we're going 83. I'd say we'd start. Probably his biggest movie would be 1984's Bachelor Party. That would be the start of that run. That ends probably, well, Sleepless in Seattle is in 93. So then we move to like, he's the romantic leading man and a serious actor.
Right.
That's going to be where that starts.
Right.
So let's talk about some big movies in this era, starting with Bachelor Party, which was that was Hollywood's attempt to make him the next Bill Murray.
You know what? Bachelor Party is not one that I've ever seen. I'd like to see it. Does it age well?
No. No
80s movie called Bachelor Party is going to age well.
Look, it's made to be raunchy. They give a horse cocaine and pills. It's all
and then they take the entire Pony Express in 45 minutes.
Yes. But he's very charming and very funny in it. He's the one guy who refuses to cheat on his wife, his bride to be, who's played by Tawny Katane. And,
who famous for being on the hood of a car in a Whitesnake video.
Yeah, that's right.
Or was it a Twisted Sister video?
No, it was Whitesnake.
Absolutely.
Good movie. Certainly not the best of this era. He would do a better movie that same year.
Which was Splash. Oh, when you said this is the topic, you wanted to do today.
Yeah.
My first thought was, okay, so Splash.
Yeah.
Splash invented naming your daughter Madison. It did. That's how amazing, like, there's a whole plot point in that movie, like, you can just name a person Madison.
Yeah.
And then I knew like 3 Madisons.
And it made it okay to bite into a raw lobster claw.
I mean, that
shell and all.
That lobster scene is great. There's so many great Daryl Hannah moments in that movie.
Yeah.
When someone asks her what her real name is and she says it and blows out all the TVs in the electronics store.
Yeah.
The fountain in the middle of the apartment.
It's so great. And he is great in it.
And I mean, just Eugene Levy and John Candy in it. John Candy when they're playing racquetball. That scene is just hilarious to me.
Yeah.
John Candy as his mouthy best friend.
This was, I think, the first indicator we got that he could do comedy, but also be a sort of a viable romantic lead in a film.
Right.
Like we bought it. Sometimes people come across like too silly or something and you want to buy you have to be able to ground something like that. It is a literal fish out of water story.
Yeah.
Ha ha ha.
And he does. That's one thing that he does really well. But does that become detrimental to the idea of this being the best Tom Hanks movie? Because he is, the grounded, realistic center in what is essentially a great ensemble movie.
I don't even think that factors in. If I thought this was the best movie he made in this era, then I would be okay with pulling it out as a finalist.
You don't think this is the best movie he made in this era? I bet I know what you think it is.
I bet you do.
And I think it's the one that I have seen 1 million times.
Yeah, it's
1988's big. 90? Was it 90?
88.
88, yeah. 1988's big.
Yeah.
I mean, I was born in 1979, so in 88 I was 9 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that I could make a wish, turn into a grown-up, and then go get an apartment that I could just keep empty and put bunk beds and skateboards and a Coke machine. Like, that movie is every kid's fantasy of what being an adult should be.
Yeah. This was his first Best Actor nomination. And he does...
I didn't know he got nominated for this. For a comedy, that's great.
And he was so good at playing a child earnestly that it sort of gets lost in the gimmick of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, he goes and works at a toy company. He falls in love with Elizabeth Perkins and how that sort of progresses.
The Theater School Zone. Shout out.
There you go. Becomes an adult.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sort of doesn't want to go back at some point, but realizes he has to. That whole thing, that evolution is great. But he, again, he's really good at grounding things.
Yeah.
Even when he's being wacky, it becomes more believable for him having been in it. Even when he does accents that maybe are outside of his comfort zone, which we'll talk about later in a later season. But I mean, this movie it's
pretty perfect.
Yeah.
And he's doing big, this is the perfect example, I think, of him doing big outlandish things in a movie that are so you believe everything he does comes from his character and his point of view and that character's motivations. There's not an untruthful moment in that movie, even though he is an adult playing a kid.
Yes. Even down to when he gets paid for the first time at his job and he and his best friend go get like pizza and soda and whipped cream and silly string.
All the stuff that you would do when you were a kid.
Yeah.
I don't know why there was a moment that I just love in that movie that is a perfect example of this, I think. It's when Elizabeth Perkins comes over and they have their first romantic moment and she takes her shirt off and she's just standing there in a bra and she turns the light switch off and Tom Hanks as Josh Baskin just staring at her bra flips the light switch back on with perfect comedic timing. It's such a dumb, funny moment, but completely truthful.
Yeah.
That's what you would do if you were a 13-year-old in that situation.
Absolutely.
Why turning the lights off? It's so silly to me.
Are there any other movies from this era that you want to talk about?
What other movies did Tom Hanks make around this time? The Money Pit, I loved.
Money Pit. for some reason, I didn't get into it when I saw it. I saw it at like a drive-in theater.
Mm-hmm. Were you a kid when you saw it?
I was a kid. I was 9 years old when it came out.
I think it's so funny.
It's got a lot of great stuff in it.
That scene where there's a hole in the floor with a rug over it.
Yes.
And he steps on the hole, falls through the hole, but the rug just traps him there for a full day.
Yeah.
It's Tom Hanks at his silly, insane best.
It is very funny.
Yeah.
The Burbs he made during this time.
Oh, The Burbs is another great one.
He had these weird, like,
The Burbs was a weird, dark, like, who directed that? It feels very,
I'm not sure who
like
directed
halfway
The
to Tim
Burbs.
Burton.
Yeah, it is like a very odd, dark. He was making all these weird choices. Joel versus the Volcano is another one. That's his first pairing with Meg Ryan, where she plays, I think, 3 different women, or plays her own sister. At least she
That's another one that I never saw. Joe versus
siblings.
the Volcano.
Yeah, he's told that he has a brain cloud, so they send him to be this company.
That's a thing?
Yeah, this company that wants control of like a tropical island sends him to sacrifice himself by convincing him that he's sick. And I think Abe Vigoda is the leader of the tribe of this island, and they've been raised
Abe Vigoda as the leader of a tribe?
Pretty sure.
That's some casting.
It's very bizarre and not like it's kind of like cult cute.
Yeah.
But nobody's holding it up as
his best movie.
Yeah, it's
also, how old would Abe Vigoda have been?
At that
he
point,
was 100 in The Godfather.
Yeah. At this point, he was 150 years old.
Right.
He just like
he took a break from introducing segments on Tales from the Crypt and came out and did Joe versus the Volcano.
Wasn't it cool when he stood in Last Crusade for what happens after
for Julian Glover at the end?
At the very end.
I was thinking about this the other day. Julian Glover has had 2 of the most vicious deaths on screen.
There's Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones, when he drank from the wrong chalice and aged 50 years and then kept going immediately.
Yeah.
The other is Game of Thrones. Oh, you don't watch Game of Thrones? I don't watch
Game. Let me guess. A sword killed him?
No, but 100 tiny knives in the hands of children.
Oh.
Yeah, he was killed by an army of children with knives.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That's
creepy. Oh, sorry if anybody is working their way just now through
season 2. I assume it's like season 2.
No, it was season 6, I think.
Okay, that was a while ago.
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's fine.
It's fine. Should have been
Statute
watching.
of limitations.
So from this season, I think the one you take is Big.
It has to be Big. I mean, Big is going to be a contender.
Although A League of Their Own is 1992. That is also in this era. The question is,
why don't we make,
you want to take a couple from each one?
Well, not even a couple from each one. Why don't we end this era? Because this feels like the end of the wacky, young.
So you want to pick up in 92?
I want to pick up 92-ish with, because that's A League of Their Own. That's Sleepless in Seattle. That begins that era when he's a little older. He's not so baby-faced. Okay.
What do you say we make this next era, 1992, to right
up
before
through Philadelphia?
No, because that would be 93.
Yeah.
I think we go up to right before 1998, which is Saving Private Ryan.
Sure.
So this is where we get like Tom Hanks becomes the greatest
household
actor in
name.
the world. Household name.
These are his huge. Big made him. Was it Big that made him the world's most sought out actor that he has never slowed down from?
I think it elevated him. I don't think that was the one. I think Philadelphia, once he won an Oscar, and then when he won another one the following year, I mean, he went back to back.
Yeah.
And almost had
what did he win the following year for?
Forrest Gump. And then almost won for Apollo 13. So you know 3 years in a row where he was nominated.
You know, it just dawned on me.
What's
Hal. Did you only do this episode because potentially it could happen so that we would have yet another episode where the winner was Philadelphia?
Look, it would be a nice perk.
Sure.
I don't think that is the winner.
Like, if we're going to do an episode called Best Pretzel Shape and get all, pardon the pun, twisted up about it.
I thought you were going to say bent out of shape.
Oh, jeez. We were bent out of shape in that one because pretzel shape is the correct answer, Hal.
Mm-hmm. Pretzel rods. Asked and answered. This is the period you get A League of Their Own.
Yeah.
You get Sleepless in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
You get Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, Apollo 13. Those are the biggest hitters, I think, of this era.
Yeah, it's
Fair
going to
to
be
say?
hard. It's going to be hard to find just one from this era.
Which of those really speaks to you? Do you have a favorite? Because you do get a good range. You get him as a romantic leading man.
Mm-hmm.
You get him as a really strong dramatic actor. Forrest Gump is this odd like comedy, but also drama.
Mm-hmm.
And then his greatest passion, which is
Space
in Apollo 13. You get that's like a really strong range and a wide variety of roles right there. Plus League of Their Own.
Yeah.
Which of those?
I feel like I'm going to eliminate a couple, if that's okay, just because, and I think he's wonderful in all of these. He's always truthful and grounded, but I like ones where he's got to put a little more stank on it.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Of course.
And I think as Jim Lovell, he is great.
Yes.
But that movie is not about Tom Hanks's acting.
Okay.
That movie is about the camaraderie of the Apollo astronauts and the historical story of Apollo 11. He is a great leading man doing a great job as a leading man in a movie.
Right.
I know this one gets maligned a lot now because everybody thinks that Pulp Fiction was robbed, but I was as a kid profoundly moved by Forrest Gump.
Sure.
And I've always been a big fan of that movie.
Right.
But again, people now are like, Forrest Gump, screw that movie. Pulp Fiction should have won. I'm like, okay. But also, it is a really well executed and epic performance by him.
Yeah. They're very different movies too.
Yes. Very, very different. One is just sweet and earnest and, by 2019 standards, I suppose problematic in certain ways.
Yeah.
From portraying someone with disability to, a little bit of, history whitewashing, but just a little. For me, it was a profoundly, moving movie. That character and that role and what he embodied and his point of view of just a good person being a good person.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
However, also in this era, wait, let me go back 1 second, because a lot of this dramatic stuff, there's a movie that there's no way would have won in that early
Did we
season.
miss one?
There were two. One's Turner and Hooch, which is him with a dog.
Turner and Hooch is fun.
It's a fun one.
And then there's Dragnet, which is Turner and Hooch, but with Dan Aykroyd instead of a dog.
That's right. But there's a movie that came out in 1988 called Punchline, which is him. Have you seen that movie?
I haven't.
It's him and Sally Field. Sally Field is a New Jersey housewife who aspires to be a stand-up comedian.
Mm-hmm.
So at night, John Goodman is her husband, and he's kind of disapproving of it. It's like, you should be here with the family. I need you here. But she'll go out at night after everything's done and go up at the clubs and bomb. Tom Hanks is this volatile but sort of rising star in comedy, and they form a relationship, and he's fallen in love with her, but she won't be with him because she ultimately loves her husband. I actually enjoy the movie a lot. I know it's one of those movies that may not be the most popular, but I love it. And his performance in it is fantastic because he is a medical school dropout who's decided to pursue comedy instead. And his father and brother, whose
family I'm sure approves of that.
Yeah, they're all doctors they don't know.
Oh,
He has a showcase for HBO, and his family shows up. And he goes up on stage.
HBO is like the straight up HBO. Do they name it something else?
Because to be on HBO at the time was such a huge deal. It's like, this is a showcase. Whoever wins is going to get their own special. Whoever they choose, like they're here to scout and find the next person. And he sees his family and then has a breakdown on stage where he completely ditches his act and starts talking about his family, and he's talking about dissecting a frog, and he starts crying because it was so traumatic for him. And he's realizing that it let his family down, and you see all this pressure on him. And that was to me, an early indicator of how good, just how
you're like,
deep
this guy from these comedies is actually a great actor.
Yeah. And I was obsessed. I wanted to be a stand-up more than anything at the time.
Yeah.
So that movie has a special place in my heart, but it's also a fantastic performance by him. So that's one worth, if you want to see not even a glimmer, but just sort of a
very good performance
of what he would become later on. But Toy Story is also in this.
I mean, Toy Story is, there's those two original ensemble movies that I was talking about before.
Yeah.
A League of Their Own and Toy Story are both in this. But that said, if we're picking the best Tom Hanks movie, His 2 Oscar-winning performances are in this era.
Yeah.
And I think they're both absolutely worthy Oscar performances.
Absolutely.
I think that he's wonderful in All. He's Sleepless in Seattle. He's great in.
Yeah.
But again, I like the ones that are where there's a little more, to the character than leading man. I think he is the world's most, passable leading man, but I think he's too good an actor for us to give him, for his victory movie in this to be one that he was, simply a leading man in.
Sure. So you think it comes down to Philadelphia?
I think it comes down to Philadelphia or Forrest Gump.
Do you think Philadelphia, I think, is a more important film?
Absolutely.
Just culturally?
Yeah.
Is that enough to make it the winner? Have we painted ourselves into a corner
with these,
where it's like, listen, the 2 choices are Philadelphia and Forrest Gump, which could not be more different than one another.
Right.
Yes, they both tackle, AIDS.
Right.
But, Philadelphia's taking it heads on. Forrest Gump alludes to it.
Right.
You never hear it sort of said by name, but you assume that that's what has happened to her. Also seems like a very important, like sort of a mainstream gay character. I did not think Philadelphia would come out of this. I feel like it's kind of hard to not take it, but as a movie, is one of the criteria of a best movie something you would watch over and over again? Because that is very hard to watch.
That's a hard movie to watch twice.
Like I could say Schindler's List is the greatest movie ever, but it's very hard. I think I've seen it 3 times in my life, and it's difficult every time. It feels like something I need to do. It's so painful.
Why don't we do this then?
Yeah.
Why don't we consider this the front 9 of this particular Tom Hanks golf course? We'll say what comes out of this is Big, Forrest Gump, and Philadelphia.
Yeah.
We'll take a break. We'll check out the back 9, and then we'll find our answer.
I love it.
Great.
Let's take a break.
We are the host of My Brother and Me, and now, nearly 10 years into our podcast, the secret can be revealed. All the clues are in place, and the world's greatest treasure hunt can now begin.
Embedded in each episode of My Brother and Me is a micro clue that will lead you to 14 precious gemstones all around this big, beautiful blue world of ours.
So start combing through the episodes. Let's say starting at episode 101 on.
Yeah, the early episodes are pretty problematic, so there's no clues in those episodes.
No, not at all.
The better ones, the good ones, clues ahoy.
Listen to every episode repeatedly in sequence. Laugh if you must, but mainly get all the great clues. My Brother and Me. It's an advice show, kind of, but a treasure hunt, mainly. Anywhere you find podcasts or treasure maps. My Brother and Me. The hunt is on.
Well, Alexis, we got big news.
Uh-oh.
Season 1, done.
It's over.
Season 2, coming at you hot.
3 years after our season 1.
Technically almost 4 years.
All right.
And now, listen, here at Can I Pet Your Dog, the Smash Hit podcast, our seasons run for 3.5 years. And then in season 2, we come at you with new, hot co-hosts named you.
Hi, I'm Alexis.
We also have
Field Trip. Dog Tech.
Yeah, dog news.
Dog news.
Celebrity guests.
Oh, big shots.
Will not let them talk about their resume.
Nope, only the dogs.
Only the dogs. I mean, if ever you were going to get into Can I Pet Your Dog,
now's the time.
Get in here
every Tuesday
at MaximumFun.org.
Okay.
All right, we're back. Now, I love that you have all of these phases of Tom Hanks. Just, by the way, I am looking at a screen and Hal is not. Like, it blows my mind.
Well, I've reverted to a screen. I appreciate you saying that now. But yeah, early on, I was trying to think of it. But here's the thing. I gave us a cutoff and then we start up again with Saving Private Ryan, which obviously
in 1998,
which feels like a shift for him into like maybe grittier or more
grown up
mature roles.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan, obviously great
roles where he doesn't shave.
Yes. A lot of shit. Well, Castaway is in
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Saving Private Ryan, Castaway. He tries to shave in the terminal.
Yeah.
In the airport.
Yes.
That's a fun guy. It's not going to win, but shout out to the terminal for him. Like,
yes.
What a weird, silly, fun movie. And as someone who, spent 24 hours in an airport he was not allowed to leave in Moscow, I appreciate what this movie implies.
Yeah.
The geopolitics of this movie you know what it feels like? It feels like a play.
It does feel like a play.
It feels like a play because here's a premise. Here's what a normal human would do if faced with this situation.
Does it also feel like a sitcom episode in a way?
A little, yeah.
Because there's another movie that is in the back. If the back 9 covers everything.
The back 9 covers, basically the back 9 is the last 20 years.
Great. So Larry Crowne
Mm-hmm.
Is not a movie either of us thought would appear here, maybe.
Still don't.
Here it is, though. It is like a sitcom episode.
Mm-hmm.
I find it charming. I enjoy it.
Yeah.
There's no way, I cannot defend it and say, oh, this is up there with like Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah.
They're definitely the same quality of movie, but he does do these films once in a while that have that feeling of like, this is like a sitcom episode. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, there's no way it's gonna win.
Yeah.
There's no way. The Lady Killers, which is another facial hair movie.
I love that they're now called the facial hair movies.
People hate The Lady Killers.
Really?
They hate that.
I don't know that movie.
Some of it's like a very strong movie. I enjoyed it. It seemed like everybody was having fun. I liked the cast. It is a remake of an Alec Guinness film. It's Coen Brothers.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right.
It's not anybody's best work, but they're all having a good time.
He's where he has the crazy facial hair and the crazy hair.
He's like the Southern gentleman.
Right.
With the weird teeth.
Speaking of movies where he has crazy hair, another one from the back nine that I don't think is necessarily going to win is a trio of movies where he plays Robert Langdon in The Da Vinci Code, Angels and Demons, and Inferno.
Look.
You don't like those movies as much as I do.
I'm not a huge fan of them. I like him in them. It's hard to
It's not about him. Like the only real acting thing that they give that character is claustrophobia. So like that's a thing that he has to play. But otherwise it's a lot of him running around looking for clues.
Yeah.
Which is great fun. And my favorite thing in the whole world.
You like that, sure.
But it's not his movie. It's the story's movie.
Yes.
It's the clues. It's the treasure. The star of those movies are the mysteries of the treasures.
How do you feel about A Road to Perdition? Cause that's him as like a killer.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
a very different movie for him.
A very different movie for him. Look, there's something I love about Hollywood royalty getting together and making a gangster picture.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like it feels old timey Hollywood. You got Paul Newman in it.
Yes, you do.
Who directed that? Was it Ron Howard?
No.
No, who directed it? It was one of the big guns.
It wasn't Frank Darabont, was it?
I don't remember.
I'll find out. I'm going to find out right now. It was directed by Tom Hanks info. This is the segment of the show where I look stuff up. Sam Mendes of American Beauty fame. This is a follow up.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not now that we have our front nine contenders.
Yes.
I want to think about who can square off with them. Like, what movie can hold its own with those front nine contenders? And I think right now there's only one. We don't have to make this back nine all one time period. How did you divide up this second half of his career?
I mean, it's really hard.
Once he's
I think we're off and away now.
Yeah. But I'd say from this, probably the closest contender to me is Castaway.
Well, Toy Story 3.
Well, Toy Story 3 is great, but I don't think it's going to be Buzz. I mean, I don't think it's going to be Woody.
And I like Castaway.
I thought it was great.
I like it a lot.
It's a whole movie that's just...
It's a great performance.
It is an everyman. Yeah, it's one of his everyman roles, but in the most extreme situation possible. And he gained and lost weight for it, which is not a prerequisite, but
in between
he did. It's good, and boy is he good in it by himself. He doesn't have other actors. Yeah. The guy is acting opposite of volleyball.
Look, it is great. I would put it up there as a finalist. So right now we have Big, Philadelphia, Forrest Gump,
and Castaway,
and Toy Story 3. I think we can
eliminate Toy Story 3.
Really?
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah, because it's not.
It's not
as we have progressed in this conversation, I think we've realized that by eliminating League of Their Own, we were like, yeah, but it's Penny Marshall's movie. Yeah, but Toy Story is Pixar's movie. You know what I mean?
Are there any movies he made with Spielberg, who I know he was reluctant to work with because they were friends? Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden they make Saving Private Ryan and Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can. All of them are great.
Yeah.
Saving Private Ryan, Catch Me If You Can, Bridge of Spies.
Also fantastic. Bridge of Spies.
That's a fun era to think about. Do you want to pull one from the Spielberg era?
See, here's the thing. My favorite of those, I love Saving Private Ryan is another movie that is as close to perfect as possible. Like his World War II stuff outside of 1941 is pretty untouchable. Like he obviously it's something he cares about. The details are there. It brings you in. I mean, the fact that when Saving Private Ryan came out, they had to have counseling for vets who saw it because that entire beginning half hour.
That was the first movie I ever saw that used that fast motion where it looks like it's fast motion. The
high speed camera.
Yeah.
And
crazy.
And the sound the Ben Burtt's sound design was
so
good.
Is.
So you really feel like you get a sense of just how terrible it was. Obviously it's nothing near actually having been there.
Mm-hmm.
But, of these, and I don't think it's his movie, I love Catch Me If You Can.
He's great in that.
And that was the movie that turned me into a Leonardo DiCaprio fan.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought his performance was great, and it feels like it's more of his movie.
And he was a perfect antagonist.
Yes.
To DiCaprio in that movie. Just driven, singular-minded, good at his job.
Yeah.
But constantly thwarted and frustrated, but still respects DiCaprio's character.
Ultimately, like a father, those calls that they have at Christmas where he's talking
are
about
just lovely.
Like, I got a daughter that I don't talk to. I never see her like that. And he's not from Boston.
He swings for the fences. Yeah.
But
look, as someone who does a Boston accent on television.
I like your Boston accent a lot.
Thanks. It's hard. Because it's hard not to just be like generic East Coast.
I have a question. Since we're recording this, the third episode is out. I'm 1 week behind. I haven't watched 3 yet, but I watched 2.
Oh, on Blood and Treasure?
Yeah, which features you throwing pitches out in front of the Coliseum.
Yeah, sure.
Throwing anything? I mean, clearly it's CGI.
I wasn't throwing it. No, I wasn't throwing anything.
Oh man, the movement on that ball.
Though I did a lot of training for that.
I would learn proper technique.
Yeah.
Because my thought,
I spent a few days throwing baseballs out in a park in Rome with Katie had come out and was my pitching coach.
Yeah.
But also Ross Stripling from the LA Dodgers, was another pitching coach I had for that. And I was ready because we were going to use real balls. I was ready. I was like, all right, let's do this. And I was warming up over on the side and the director Boyum was like, hey, we're not going to use real balls for this because, you're throwing at the camera. I was like, man, I've been busting my butt.
Learning how to throw. Form.
I got the form pretty well.
When you walked up with sports equipment in my mind, I was like, oh boy. I hope somebody helped him a little bit.
What's funny, a whole season of television and 2 shots. 2 shots are the ones I was most terrified of.
But that was great.
Yeah, it was fun.
It was really well done. I was like, oh, he can throw.
Yeah.
How about it?
Turns out. Anyway, let's get back to Tom Hanks.
You should fix your arm slot. You're going to get better. You're going to get better movement on the ball.
Right.
I wrote you with pitching tips.
I know. So did my brother. Ridiculous. So I want to give a shout out now to another animated movie that if we are going to go with animated movies, I don't think it's superior to any of the Toy Story movies, but as a Tom Hanks movie.
Okay.
I think it is his best animated work, hands down.
Okay.
Is the Polar Express. Because I love that movie. I know it's hit or miss. Like people love it or hate it. I don't, it's fine. It's to quote Mitch Hedberg, people love it or hate it or think it's okay. But it, to me, I just really like that movie a lot. And I'm a big Christmas nut.
Sure.
Also Tom Hanks plays virtually every adult in that movie.
Right.
He plays the conductor of the train. He plays the hobo on the roof riding the rails. He plays Santa Claus at the end. He plays the kid's father. And he motion captures the whole thing.
Sure.
That I think is his best animated work.
Okay. That's fair.
I think I would say that over any of the Toy Story movies. As far as if we're talking about best Tom Hanks, and that gets back to, is it the performance or the movie?
Oh boy.
Toy Story is a better movie than Polar Express, inarguably.
Yeah.
But Tom Hanks is better in Polar Express, I think.
I feel, I got 2 more that I'd like to discuss.
Okay.
One.
I'd love that you giggled at the beginning of that, so I don't know what this is.
Well, okay. One of them is Sully.
I never saw Sully.
They're both him playing other people who exist.
Aren't they all him playing? Oh, who exist?
Who exist. He's playing actual, once living or living human beings.
Yeah.
Sully's a good performance.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird that he's playing Sully. Like
It's weird to think about a historical movie that takes place just a couple of years ago from a news story that we all remember. And we all saw Sully on television a bunch.
And Autumn's on the plane.
That's
She's
right.
in the trailer and everything.
I love it.
I was like, is Autumn the star of this movie? I want to know about her character. Like, that's, if I friend is in the movie, I only want to know about their character. And that's what the movie's about. The other is a movie that I don't think was as big a hit. I think it did well, but I really liked his performance, which was as Walt Disney in Saving Mr. Banks.
Oh yeah. I never saw Saving Mr. Banks either. I feel like this episode.
This is something that's a hole in your, it like checks a lot of boxes.
Does check a lot of boxes. Yeah.
I mean, something makes me feel like if the Mr. Rogers movie was out right now, that would be a finalist.
Oh.
Because he's playing Mr. Rogers.
Yeah.
But too bad.
Like the two people that America loves the most.
His Walt Disney was great though. And he's playing opposite Emma Thompson. It's a real like two-hander between the two of them where she's P.L. Travers and does not want him to make Mary Poppins. You have B.J. Novak and Jason Schwartzman as the Sherman Brothers.
As the Sherman Brothers, yeah.
It's just a great sort of all around, like a really fun movie and a good performance by him. Is it the best? No,
but
it's one worth mentioning.
Yeah, I should see that.
Yeah. I mean, it's sort of like You've Got Mail. Like, hey, it's the shop around the corner. It's She Loves Me.
Yeah.
In the digital age of 1998 where they're on AOL Instant Messenger. Nobody knew who anybody was back then. Were you on AIM? Were you on there?
I was. M. Gaglio 105.
I was like Orange Dude something because I went to Syracuse.
Oh my God.
And then I would go into the fortune telling room, like the tower room, and give people fake readings.
Oh, nice.
That I thought I was like, this is the best Andy Kaufman stunt. I'm using the internet. I'm like a pioneering comedian.
You know what I used to do? You're a pie.
Cybersex, is that what you used to do?
Cybersex, that's what I used to do.
Anyone want a cyber?
So when comedians started doing pranks online, were you like, did it?
Yeah, I was like,
I've been there.
Please.
No, I was a real dork and I used to go to message boards about Walt Disney World. Specifically, I was introduced to message boards right before a family trip to Disney World.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, because before there was, ubiquitous internet, it was just like, oh, I'm going to talk to some people who there's a community of people who like this thing as much as I do. Yeah. So I found them it was the most tame version of being on the internet.
It was pure. Nobody was in there going age, sex, location.
Yeah, exactly.
They were just like, I like the teacups the most.
ASL, American Sign Language. How do you even do sign language with a computer? And why? Just type.
It's ASCII. That's how you do it. It only takes 90 minutes to do each hand.
Oh my God. All right. So what's coming out of this late? Do we have anything else that is joining Forrest Gump, Philadelphia and Big? And I would say Castaway.
I would accept Castaway.
Yeah.
It feels weird not to have a Toy Story film up there, but I get it because we're not taking ensemble work.
Yeah. And he's done some amazing ensemble work. The Green Mile is an amazing ensemble movie.
Yeah.
I'd call Bridge of Spies an ensemble movie just because I love Mark Rylance so much.
He's so good. He's great in Dunkirk.
He's so good in everything.
Good
He's one of those guys that had just been on Broadway forever. All movie audiences were like, who is this newcomer? And Broadway audiences were like, it's about dang time that this guy got his due.
He was the BFG. I think how can we do this without putting Cloud Atlas into the finals?
I never saw Cloud Atlas, but
you're fine.
Yeah.
It's okay. You don't have to.
He plays a bunch of different characters in that, right?
Yeah.
Through time.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. Oh, you know what? I do have one more.
Okay.
That I think is worth talking about, that I think is really, really good. Again, I don't think as many people saw this. It wasn't a huge hit, but you have Tom Hanks, Philip Seymour Hoffman, Julia Roberts.
Can I stop you right there?
Yes.
My mom, I don't know if he's still alive. My mom knows Charlie Wilson.
Really?
Yeah. Weird, right?
That's really
weird. The actual Charlie Wilson.
That's so bizarre.
Isn't that strange?
But what a really good
What an
movie.
Insane story.
And again, it's like
he's playing it. That was one of the ones he's playing. Is that the other one you were going to say where he's playing a real person?
No, the other one was Walt Disney.
Oh, Walt Disney, right.
Like you sort of, look, it's hard to do something like this because he's done so many movies that people connect with on one level or another. I don't know if this one really qualifies because once it gets to the end, it feels kind of rushed, but him working with Aaron Sorkin, that's such a great pairing.
Yeah.
He's another guy who, he delivers that dialogue well. The entire scene where Philip Seymour Hoffman is meeting with him for the first time. But also there's been an investigation into the party he went to because it was cocaine. So he keeps having Philip Seymour Hoffman leave the room, and Amy Adams and his all-female staff come in who the first time you see them, it seems like he just has like eye candy. Then they all come in, are super professional. They're handling everything. That's such a great Sorkin-esque scene.
Oh, yeah. That movie's super Sorkin-y and fun.
Yeah.
And the dialogue does pop. And it's nice to have Tom Hanks. It's like, Sorkin's one of my favorite writers.
Sure.
I love his plays. I love his movies. I love his TV shows.
Yeah.
I know he's a nightmare from a few accounts I've heard, but boy, is he talented.
Yeah.
So to have one of America's great screenwriters / playwrights and America's most beloved actor, like that's just a lovely combo.
Yeah, for sure. But not
big Forrest Gump. So we got Big, Forrest Gump, Castaway, and Philadelphia.
Yep.
Do you want to go old school and eliminate them one by one?
Yeah.
We haven't done that in a long time.
Should we take 2 from his, how do we only have 1 movie from his front 9?
We don't. You mean his back 9?
Isn't that weird?
Well, yeah.
I'm not saying we have to take more, but.
No, he eased into being
an ensemble
guy, a supporting player in a lot of things.
Okay.
And also like you look at the zenith of Tom Hanks was 93, 94, 95, like that era.
Yeah.
That's when he was absolutely at his Oscar winning top of the game.
Sure.
Okay. So much so that his Oscar speech led to another movie. How many people can say that?
Yeah.
The speech they made at the Oscars got turned into a screenplay and made into another film.
In and Out?
Yeah.
Do we need to talk about The Green Mile at all?
Ensemble picture.
He can't pee-pee in that, remember? It hurts when he pee-pees. And that's a real pain a lot of us have had.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And it feels real when he does it.
Yeah.
So if we do a movie with
Did you hug a koala? Is that why, Hal?
Yeah.
You hugged a koala and now it hurts when you pee?
Yeah. I shouldn't have done that. You know what it is? The zookeeper's like, kiss him on the lips. And I thought it would be fun.
Sure.
And I did.
Yeah.
For like a half an hour. Small kisses.
Sure. Gentle pecks.
Gentle kisses. Like we just look at each other and go, hey.
Oh, God.
And then next thing you know, hurt when I peed.
Oh, God.
Thanks, Australia. Really? Really?
All right. Eliminate one. Or wait, do you want me? Who do you want? One of us is going to get 2 eliminations.
4 of these?
We have 4, so one of us is going to get 2 eliminations.
We have Big, Philadelphia, Forrest Gump, and Castaway.
Do you think, unless there are any more you want to put into the mix?
I'll eliminate one of those. I'm going to eliminate Forrest Gump.
Wow, surprising.
Yeah.
You don't like Forrest Gump?
No, I love it. I think these other 3 overall are stronger as movies. There's something about it. They each feel like a little bit, either a little more personal or a little heavier or a greater feat of performance. So just by the criteria we're sort of coming up with on the fly, I think this is a good final 3 that is all the films are very different from one another. I know what you're going to eliminate.
No, you don't.
I do too.
You don't know what I'm going to eliminate, but I hope you eliminate it next because I think you and I both know what the real winner should be. Even though I'm going to eliminate Castaway.
Oh, wow.
Because I think that the final 2 contenders should be Philadelphia and Big.
Oh, Lord.
Personally, I think the winner should be Big. Philadelphia is amazing and important and tells a huge, important story. But to do what he did in Big and to get Oscar nominated for what is essentially a kid's movie because he's so good in it. And I know you just want to say Philadelphia, like you want to give Philadelphia any victory that it can have. So I'm eliminating Castaway. And again, these are like, we are talking about some of the greatest performances in some of the greatest movies of all time that he did. I think that I'm eliminating Castaway. I think he was wonderful in it. He was acting opposite of volleyball.
Yep.
But I think the 2 finalists should be Big and Philadelphia.
Do I have to do this? I'm sweating.
You have to do this, Hal.
Here's why.
You don't know. You know what? You don't have to do it because we can discuss it. It's Philadelphia is an amazing, important movie.
I don't want to, the fact that it's called Philadelphia is meaningless in this context.
Sure. But the fact that it is one of the first portrayals of a gay man and opened a lot of eyes to AIDS.
Yeah, sort of brought it like
with the world's biggest star,
and
then his Oscar acceptance speech, even like just it shined such a spotlight on something that was so important.
Is it fair?
But I can't watch it over and over and over again like I can Big.
Here's the other thing.
By the way, I said you were going to be eliminating it, and I'm like, let's just talk about it.
No, I'm glad we're talking about it because what goes through my head is why would you have Tom Hanks play that role instead of having
a gay person?
Yeah. Why not have somebody who's gay play that role? And now, look, that's a question we should have been asking all along.
Yeah.
Since the inception of film, performance, everything.
Mm-hmm.
It feels unfair to look at a 1992 film and in that way hold it up to a 2019 standard.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can't give it points.
Yeah, I don't
can't take away points, but that's like the thing that went to my head immediately is like, you could eliminate it because like I'm looking for reasons to eliminate it.
I just want to throw out a quick thought. And this is, I guess, more of an important question than we are used to dealing with.
Right.
But it doesn't necessarily bother me when a straight person plays a gay character. It doesn't bother me when a gay person plays a straight character. I guess that's coming up in theater. I've seen so many people of so many sexual orientations play all of these characters. I think it's important that the stories get told. And I think that it's important that gay actors have a shot. But like, I guess it's different to me than other representation because as I've read it before, one of the things that triggered this and sparked this conversation in my brain was reading a black actor who had written like, I can't play not black.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think that representation is important, and I think representation both in casting and in stories are important. I think gay people should get jobs acting in whatever they can play. I think straight people should get jobs acting in whatever they can play. And I think it's important that both gay and straight stories get told. So in that regard, I would prefer a gay actor to play a gay character, because, you know, maybe just for the truth of the moments, but I don't think that I don't throw it out outright that Tom Hanks was straight playing a gay character.
That's again, especially for the time in which it was made, I would agree with you. Part of the struggle now.
Mm-hmm. I realize I'm a straight white dude saying this.
That's the tough part is like, it doesn't necessarily bother me.
I'm not one of these all lives matter. I'm just,
you know what it is? It doesn't bother me personally either. Like but it's also not, I'm far away from it.
Right.
And I'm sure you would agree in wanting to be supportive and a good ally to people who identify however they identify, that who maybe get way fewer opportunities than they should anyway, that when something comes up that is literally them and they are not cast or at least given consideration for that role, that is wrong. Now we're talking about
I 100% agree with that.
But to apply that to
as far as
30 years ago is like, that's not enough to eliminate it.
Right. You know me well enough to know that.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying.
That's why I want to make sure that it's clear for everybody listening. I think it's pretty clear where our feelings stand and our quest to be better people and good allies and all of that. That said, I think the point you make that is good is, we even talked about this before, like Schindler's List is a great movie that it's hard to watch over and over again. If we're doing best movie, that is part of it, is the overall quality of the movie, right? But I think for you and I, and for the sort of what this show is, we're talking about movies that we can watch over and over again.
Yeah.
And I think that Big fits that bill.
So, Hal, can you just getting off of the more serious topic that we got?
Philadelphia is eliminated?
Yes.
Philadelphia is eliminated.
I'm sorry, louder. I didn't hear it.
Philadelphia is eliminated.
Okay.
The winner is Big. Asked and answered. The great Tom Hanks. Enjoy his entire filmography.
Hal, you forgot something.
People of the world.
There you go.
Enjoys it. Sorry, I'm so rattled. I'm rattled 5 ways from Sunday right now. this guy's had a heck of a career.
Yeah.
Like,
kudos to you, pal.
The choices he continues to make, the things that he cares about. Watch From the Earth to the Moon. Watch the stuff he produces. That Thing You Do is a Tom Hanks film
I was
directed.
I was going to say his producing work with Gary Getzman. Is that his name?
Maybe.
He's been doing these documentaries for CNN for years now. And it's one of my favorite things he's ever done. The 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, that series of decade-based documentaries. Yeah. It's wonderful what he's doing.
And his filmography is no joke, and fill in the blanks that you have not seen. It is worth checking out. Almost all of them, even the movies that maybe aren't at the top of the list. Like he takes big cuts. He's not risk averse. And I think that's something to celebrate in anybody who is a creative. And here come the paddy wagons to take us away. If you can hear that siren, it literally feels like it's outside of your kitchen window, which is facing another building.
Yeah. Oh, that building is the Ghostbusters headquarters.
Oh,
so they're just going to, they ain't afraid of no ghosts. They're going to go do some.
There you go. The best Tom Hanks movie is Big.
Yeah.
Asked and answered.
Oh, I love that movie.
Go to your Zoltar machine and wish that you're able to have enjoyed the career that Tom Hanks has enjoyed in whatever you do, that you're able to enjoy that success.
Whatever
that's my
that thing you do is.
I will fire that coin right into that Zoltar's mouth for you and make your wish come true. That's it. This topic is settled.
Yep. Asked and answered, done.
Boy, I thought it was going to be easier than it was.
No.
I didn't even think. I was like, oh, we'll do this one. We're about to leave for Max FunCon.
Like literally in minutes.
Yeah. This will come out like 2 days after we have been at Max FunCon to improvise with our friends Janet and Annie. But there you go. This one is solved, but there are many more out there. So you tell people. We always do this out of order.
I know you just reversed it on
everybody.
me.
Just tell
this topic is closed, but there are many more to discuss. So please reach out to us on Twitter at We Got This Tweets. Check out the Maximum Fun subreddit, or
you can email us at wegotThisPodcast@gmail.com.
We promise.
It worked out. You can still send them to info@HalLublin. That's cool too. I'm getting them. I am responding to them. I've responded to every email we have received. So there you go. Or really where you want to go is our Facebook group. That's facebook.com/groups/We Got This Podcast. Talk about your favorite Tom Hanks movies. Where'd we get it right? Where'd we get it wrong? I want to hear what you think and why you think your favorite movie, your choice, is his best movie. Tell us why. Let's hear the whys and have a fun discussion about it. Always good conversation going on in that Facebook group. We are incredibly proud of it. Thank you to producer Ken Plume, researcher Kate McManus, graphic designer Uri Kelman, and QA engineer Jen Alba.
And thanks, of course, to our musicians, Jonathan Dinerstein and Mike Furman, for our score and theme song, respectively. And thanks to you, our listeners. To quote Tom Hanks as Jim Lovell, it has been an honor and a privilege. For Hal Lublin, I'm Mark Gagliardi.
For Mark Gagliardi, I'm Hal Lublin. And don't worry, everybody.
We got this.
We got this.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned.
Audience supported.